1-0 New York. And we're back after this for Burger King. Well, there's the antenna man. And we're going to the top half of the 6th inning, and Mike Brown's leading it off for the Pirates. New York leads it 1-0. Brown is 1 for 2, as you see. He singled to right in the 3rd and then was erased on a double play. 1-1. A lot of things have been written in the Pittsburgh papers about Mike Brown not playing enough. And he has been Cecilio Guante. The game is over here, this way. He's watching the party out there, I guess. Santana. And another good play by Raffy. 1 away.
And coming this Friday night, a film festival premiere. Channel 9 presents the Cannes Film Festival with host Lorraine Newman spoofing the incredible going on of Terror of Tiny Town. Friday night at 11:30.
Terror of Tiny Town? Story of Gulliver and the Lilliputians, I guess.
That's a story of Eddie Goodell batting for the St. Louis Browns as a midget.
A line drive off the bat of Jim Morrison, and again Ray Knight makes the play. 2 away.
Oh, Morrison speared a line drive earlier in this ball game off of Carter, and now this one turned into an out as he hits it hard, and Knight turns him back.
So 2 out. And the batter Mike Diaz. Here's a comparison between the two pitchers after 5 innings of work.
71 pitches for Walk, 65 for Ojeda. Ojeda in the strike zone 6 more times than Walk. And Walk a lot more balls. Naturally, with a name like Walk, you'd throw a lot more balls.
But Walk has more strikeouts. But Ojeda leads in the game 1-0, and Mike Diaz hits it deep to left center, but Danny Heath has enough room to make the play on the warning track. And the side is retired in order in the 6th by Bob Ojeda, and he still leads the Pirates 1-0. Now here's a word from your Ford dealers. On the radio side, Gary Thorne, who does the broadcasts along with Bob Murphy. Bob, of course. And there's Jim Rooker of the Pirates radio crew, who works with Lanny Fratteri.
Jim Rooker, a fine left-hand pitcher.
There's Lanny.
Also on their telecast, they used Steve Blass, who at one time was one of the great Pirate pitchers.
So lots of folks here today, in addition to the better than 40,000 on hand, and Len Dykstra to lead off the bottom of the 6th inning for the Mets. And a breaking ball low from Bob Walk. Ball 1. Lenny's 1 for 2. He singled to left center field back in the 1st inning, and he struck out in the 3rd. And he rips one down the line in fair territory. It'll be at least 2. Mike Brown digs it out. Dykstra's going to try for 3. And he's in there.
Well, here it is. Dykstra with a bullet hit down into the right field corner. Brown going over there, playing the ball perfectly. The relay to Belliard, now on to 3rd, but Dykstra just outruns everybody and comes up with his 4th triple of the year. A leadoff 3-base hit. Strong throw by Belliard, but not in time.
That ties Len for 4th in the league with triples. Vince Coleman of St. Louis, the leader in the National League, with 6.
That is the Mets' 5th hit in this ball game, and as we mentioned earlier, this is the first start for Bob Walk. So he's getting close to his exit point. They're probably going to leave him in at this point as Ron Schuler talks to him, the pitching coach. Mets get their 5th hit. Pirates have 6 hits in this ball game. They all came in the first 4 innings. And Ojeda's still working on a shutout. The most hits ever allowed while pitching a shutout, 14 hits. Milt Gaston in 1928 for Washington won a 9-0 shutout, giving up 14 hits, no runs. And Larry Cheney back in 1913 for the Chicago Cubs gave up 14 hits against the New York Giants and won 7-0.
Well, Schuler out there to give the bullpen a little time as two pitchers are up for Pittsburgh in the bullpen now, and Dykstra is at third with nobody out to lead off the bottom of the sixth. And here's Wally Backman, who is 1 for 2, and in this series Wally is 5 for 11.
And they are playing their infield here, which does comply with the book, so-called book.
This time they're in all the way around. Backman holds up. It's ball 1. Wally's base hit when he scored a run in the 4th inning on the RBI double by Hernandez. His first of the game, extending his hitting streak to 5 games, as Pat Clements, the left-hander, and Jim Wynn, the right-hander, warm up for the Pirates. And an off-speed delivery drops right in there. It's 1-1. Fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Backman, a big base hit in yesterday's ball game in that 5-run 5th inning, singled up the middle to drive in a run.
Everybody, I think, got a hit in that inning. The Mets scoring all 5 after 2 were out.
Hit and walks. 3 walks issued.
Dykstra at third. He led off the inning with a triple. The Mets lead it 1-0.
And with no one out, he'll play it safe.
Bounced in the dirt, but no, Dykstra's not going to try it. And it's a good thing, because El Gato, Tony Pena, who jumps around like a cat, got out of there in a hurry, and Walk alertly came into cover.
Well, he doesn't break right away, and now he makes up his mind. He starts to go and decides not to, but again, with no one out, it's not worth the try. 2 men out, yes. And he had an idea about it.
He thought about it with his feet as well as his head, but appropriately thought better of it and went back to the bag. So the count 2-2 on Wally Backman.
I'm sure Harrelson was saying, don't go, don't go.
Now a full count. First of 2 here at Shea today on Banner Day, and we'll cover some of those banners for you between games. In fact, Wally's wife Margie is going to be one of the judges. A Tapper foul outside the first base line, so the count remains 3-2. Wally's the father of 2, Jennifer and Walter II. Ball 4. Only the second walk issued by Walk.
That might do it. They got 2 left-handed batters coming up.
Yep, here comes Jim Leland. And it appears as if he will go to Pat Clements with Hernandez and Strawberry scheduled up. There's Clements in the foreground. And he's going to make a double switch as he goes to home plate umpire Billy Williams. So we'll sort it out for you as the pitching change is made, with the Mets leading 1-0 with nobody out and 2 on in the bottom of the 6th. We'll pause for a message from Delta Airlines. Cardinals enters the game to play left field now, and the left fielder Bill Allman moves in to play first base. Mike Diaz out of the game, and in his position in the batting order, the new pitcher Pat Clements.
And he has a record of no wins, 2 losses, and 2 saves, an earned run average of 3.33, his 32nd game of the year. He's walked 16, struck out 14, given up 24 hits in 27 innings. Pat Clements in there. He came to the Pirates from the Angels.
Clements now tied for second in the league in appearances with Tim Burke of Montreal. Craig Lefferts of San Diego leads. He has appeared in 33 games. So here's Keith Hernandez to face the left-hander. Hernandez has walked and doubled to drive in a run in the 4th inning. Pena getting things squared away with the new first baseman Bill Ullman.
And they have moved their infield back at short and second to double play depth. They're willing to give up a run to get the double play. And Dykstra's job on third is to run on any ground ball to make a play at the plate. Stay out of the double play.
Nobody out. Hernandez takes inside for ball 1.
Walked through 80 pitches, 45 strikes, 35 balls, struck out 4 and walked 2.
And he pitched 5+ innings, allowing 1 run so far on 5 hits. Backman chased back at first base. And that was Bob Walk's longest outing of the season in his first start. One ball to count to Hernandez. And it's high, ball 2. .301 career against the Pirates. In this series, Keith's had 3 hits and 8 official at-bats. A number back to the mound. Dykstra looked back at third by the pitcher Clements, who throws on to Allman at first base, and there's 1 away. And on the play, Backman advances to second. So the Mets now with runners at second and third and 1 out.
Well, this ball hit right back at the pitcher, so Dykstra has to hold because they can't get the double play. Dykstra, seeing the ball hit, starts in and then holds because there's no chance for the double play. And he stays in scoring position at third as Backman goes down to second in scoring position.
And the straw man will be the hitter. Darrell is 1 for 2. He doubled back in the first. He lined out to first base in the 4th inning. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Strawberry in this series, 4 hits and 10 at-bats, batting .400 in the series, .250 career against the Pirates. But this season, Darrell is hitting at the start of the game .393 against Pirate pitching. Low and inside, 1-1.
Darrell drove in the winning run in the 9th inning off Clements in the first game of this series. Mets winning 6-5. He hit a slider to right field to score Mookie Wilson, who was on second.
And that was his major league leading 9th game-winning RBI of the year. 2 balls, 1 strike. Gary Carter on deck. Runners at second and third with 1 out.
I doubt that Carter would hit against Clements.
That's low as Strawberry holds up. Pena wants the appeal play, and third base coach, umpire Steve Ripley says Strawberry did not swing, so it's 3-1.
Well, we'll look at it again. And it is low. Darrell did not swing. So you got to believe Ripley.
Believe it or not. Ball 4. So they pitch Strawberry very carefully, even though a left-handed pitcher is on the mound, and Strawberry walks to load the bases with 1 out.
They have a right-hander in the bullpen. And he's going to be called in.
Yep, here comes Leland. So Clements will face 2 batters. He picks up 1 out and walks the other one. So it's still 1-0 New York. 1 out and the bases loaded here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And we'll be back after this word from Katz. The new pitcher, and he comes into the game to face Gary Carter with the bases loaded.
Wynn making his 25th appearance. And he has a record of 1 win, 1 loss, and 3 saves, an earned run average of 3.62. He has walked 11, struck out 30, given up 32 hits and 32 in the 3rd innings. And Wynn will be working to Carter with the bases loaded. Carter with 9 Grand Slam home runs. Second to George Foster in the National League among active players. George Foster with 13 Grand Slam home runs. So Carter in Grand Slam territory here as Wynn takes his warm-up pitches.
The inning started with a triple by Len Dykstra off starter Bob Walk, and then walked Backman to put runners at first and third. Hernandez tapped back to Pat Clements, who was brought in to pitch to the 2 left-handers. On the play, Backman moved down to second base, and then Clements walked Strawberry to load the bases. So Wynn, the 3rd pitcher, now in relief of Clements, who went only 1/3 of an inning, walking 1. The Mets getting the only run of the game so far in the bottom of the 4th inning when Keith Hernandez doubled to drive in Wally Backman from first base. And Jim Leland has tried to do about everything he can do, juggling his lineup, making pitching changes, and has so far only been able to beat the Mets 1 time in 10 games this year.
In this series, in the first game, he used 4 pitchers. In this second game, 4 pitchers, and now he's used 3 in this game. There you are.
Who is that guy?
Jackie Gleason.
He usually looks a little happier than that.
Bob Prince, who died last year, the broadcaster for the Pittsburgh Pirates, used to use the expression "how sweet it is" before Jackie Gleason ever came up with it.
Plagiarism abounds everywhere. That picture looked a lot like our executive producer Rick Miner if he ever shaved his beard off. Carter has lined out and reached on a fielder's choice, and he takes low for ball 1. Bases loaded and 1 out.
That's his reaction to our broadcast.
Dykstra at third, Backman at second, Strawberry at first. Great speed all the way around for New York. And it caught the corner. 1-1.
Well, Carter, with this reaction, thinking the ball inside, it wasn't that far inside, called a strike.
That's high, even though Pena did a good job trying to bring it down for home plate umpire Billy Williams. So 2-1. Jim Wynn has allowed 6 home runs in 32 innings of work. Carter holds up on a low pitch. It's 3-1.
Jim Leland, the manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates, in his first year replacing Chuck Tanner. And now Carter in an outstanding hitting situation. 3 balls, 1 strike.
1 out, bases loaded. And Gary walks to drive in a run.
First baseman Bill Allman really hot. They did not appeal the check swing, and Allman saying to Pena appeal it. They appealed it, and the first base umpire Gary Darling gave the say sign that he did not swing. So the Mets take the lead 2-0 on the RBI by Carter, his 41st of the year. The bases are still loaded, and the batter will be Danny Heap.
And that run is charged to starter Bob Walk, and here's the play again.
Carter starts to swing and stops the bat. Did he stop in time? First base umpire Gary Darling said he did. The Pirates disagreed.
And I think the Mets got a break there. I think Carter might have gone too far. But the umpire didn't see it that way. So now left-handed batter Danny Heap to face the right-hander Jim Wynn. Bases still loaded, still 1 out, and it's ball 1. Backman now at third, Strawberry down at second, and Carter at first. Two balls, no strikes, and Ron Schuler, the Pirate pitching coach, is coming out again.
Well, the Pirates have averaged something close to 3 hours per ball game this year, and this is one of the reasons. A lot of pitchers, a lot of trips to the mound. Strawberry seems to still be hurting from that foul on his foot. Bud Harrelson.
Excuse me, Ralph. Yeah, he's limping noticeably, and Buddy Harrelson went out to talk to him, and now Buddy's coming to the dugout.
They might go for a pinch runner. Davey Johnson, the manager of the Mets. He doesn't want to lose Strawberry. This game isn't over. That's leading just 2-0.
And even though the bases are loaded with 1 out, a double play would get Pittsburgh out of the inning without any further damage. And it looks like Kevin Mitchell is loosening up, and he may go in to run for Strawberry. And you can see that Strawberry is limping quite a bit. So Darrell will come out of the game. Mitchell will replace him at second base and in right field as well, and also bat fourth in the batting order. So the count, 2 balls and no strikes to Danny Heath. Bases loaded. Still only 1 out.
And again, a good hitting position here, 2-0.
Ball 3. Well, you can see why they've had so many trips to the mound, Ralph.
3 complete games this season.
And a strike called makes it 3-1. Heap with 3 home runs, 17 RBIs on the year. Fouled away, and the count is full. Danny Heap asking home plate umpire Billy Williams if that ball would have been a strike had he not swung at it.
It was a better pitch to hit than the one before.
Wynn was all ready to go, and then he decided to step off the mound and went to the rosin bag.
He's acting like he doesn't want to make this pitch.
Jim Leland doesn't look too sure either. Ball 4. He walks in another run. The Mets have only had 1 hit in this inning, but they have scored 2 runs after the leadoff triple by Len Dykstra on 4 walks.
And that closes the book on Bob Walk. Those last 2 runs charged to his record, so all 3 of the runs in this game go against his record. And now the batter will be Ray Knight.
Ray has struck out and fly deep to center. He had his 11-game hitting streak snapped yesterday, so he's hit in 11 of the last 12. Bases still loaded and still only 1 out. Strike 1. Ray entered the game hitting .333. Tony Gwynn and Hubie Brooks tied for the league lead at .339, and Knight in third place. Then a ground to third. Morrison coming home, and they get the force play on Mitchell at the plate for the second out of the inning.
With the bases loaded, all they have to do is get the ball to the catcher with his foot on home plate. That's exactly what they do. Bases remain loaded as Morrison gets the assist. Pena gets the out. Now Rafael Santana with a chance.
Santana has flied to center and grounded to short. Bases loaded with 2 out. 3-0 New York as 2 runs have scored here in the 6th inning. Ball 1.
Davy Johnson. Fine article on Davy Johnson in the Times this morning.
Breaking ball in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a deserving article. Davey has done an outstanding job. Carter at third, Heap at second, Knight at first. And a ground ball up the middle. Khalifa flips it to Belliard, and the inning is over. The Mets pick up 2 runs on just 1 base hit and 4 walks. Jim Wynn and Billy Williams, the home plate umpire, are having a conversation as Wynn walked 2 and walked in 2 runs. Billy seems to be pleading his case sufficiently to satisfy Jim Wynn. So at the end of 7, it's 3-0 New York in the first of a doubleheader. Tim McCarver will be in to join me after this word from the good old skies. Game for Darryl Strawberry in right field. Strawberry leaving with soreness in his foot. And here's the National League scoreboard for you. In the bottom of the 3rd, St. Louis leading Chicago 1-0. Bottom of the 5th, Montreal leading Philadelphia 1-0. Bottom of the 3rd, Cincinnati all over Atlanta 7-0. And later on, San Francisco at Houston and Los Angeles at San Diego. And with the Mets leading at 3-0 as we go to the top of the 7th inning, here's Tim McCarver.
All right, thank you very much. Out the first 6 innings today, and my prior concern was more with my carnation. And with the ball game, I mean, you know, Billy Webb gave me a carnation before the game.
Nice
we're wearing on our lapel. Tony Pena, La Pena, I was going to say, but Tony Pena leading off here in the 7th. 3-0 Mets lead, and the first pitch ripped. Nice play, Santana. Nice play, Hernandez. 1 out.
Well, Rafael Santana hitting in the 150s now, but still doing the job at short. And Hernandez with a little help at the other end to pick up the short hop. This ball was ripped, and Santana spears it back in the hole and is able to throw out Pena because of the velocity at which the ball came to him.
And Bill Almond will be the batter. Nice play, Hernandez. Good play, Santana. Ojeda has given up 6 hits, but the Pirates have not had a hit since the 4th. And a fake bunt by Almond. So it's 0-1 to Bill Almond. Changeup is inside. Speaking of carnations, the Mets have been playing carnation ball through their first 57. They've been dancing around the bases in rather regal fashion, I would say. Changeup lifted to right. Kevin Mitchell makes the catch. 2 out.
Is that carnation or coronation?
Coronation. What did I say? Carnation? I didn't mean to get it confused with that cow.
Well, it was Bill. Nice of Bill to give us a flower for our lapel on Father's Day.
Yes.
We'll have to come up with a present for him. Boy, do I have something in mind.
I have several things in mind for Bill Webb. Sammy Khalifa 1 for 2. He's single back in the 2nd. Lines it foul. You know, that inning took about 25 to 30 minutes, and I'm surprised that Ojeda came out throwing strikes. But he is that type of pitcher where a long layoff will not bother. He rarely walks people. He has only walked 1 today. That unusually, the pitcher, Bob, walked.
Well, Timmy, we got the report on Darryl Strawberry. He does have a bruised foot. He was not scheduled to play in the second game. And if he does not play the second game, it won't be because of the injury, because it's not serious.
Well, a fly ball to Len Dykstra and an easy inning for Bob Ojeda. Bobby has retired 8 in a row, and after 7.5, it's 3-0 New York. We go to the middle of the 7th after this word from U.S. Health.
The Mets will be celebrating their 25th anniversary as players from the Mets' 25 years will be here at Shea to play in the equitable Old Timers Day game beginning at 12 noon, with the Mets Atlanta Braves game getting underway at 1:50. This is a new start time, so make note of it. Jerry Grody, Cleon Jones, John Matlack, and Willie Mays are among the many players scheduled to appear. And then on Sunday afternoon, July 13th, it's Rusty Staub Day, as the Mets will be honoring Rusty in a pregame ceremony beginning at 1 o'clock. And the final game of the Mets Atlanta series will get underway at 2:05. Tickets are going fast for both these games, so get your tickets now at Shea's advanced ticket window, any Ticketron outlet, or you can call 718-507-TIXX for more ticket information. So mark July 12th and 13th on your calendar now, as both games will be 2 more memorable chapters in Mets history. These are 2 games that you don't want to miss, the 12th and 13th of July right here at Shea.
So in the bottom of the 7th inning, Jim Wynn, the 3rd pitcher for the Pirates. Bob Walk worked the first 5 innings. Enter Pat Clements, who got Hernandez on a ground out, but then after walking Darryl Strawberry, he was lifted for Jim Wynn, and Wynn came in and walked Carter and Heap. The Mets plated 2 runs on 2 RBI bases loaded walks. And Knight and Santana went down, so it's 3-0. New York leads. The other run came on an RBI double by Keith Hernandez back in the 4th. Ojeda has struck out a couple of times, 0 for 2 on the game, and the fastball outside. Strike 1. Those Expos still over the Phillies 1-0. That game in the bottom of the 5th inning. Charles Hudson going for Philadelphia today.
Charles, don't call me Charlie.
Breaking ball grounded toward first. Good play by Amon, who throws to Wynn for the out. 1 away. And the top of the order, Len Dykstra, the batter. By the way, Andy McGaffigan pitching that game for the Montreal Expos. He has shut out the Phillies once this year and always pitches well against them.
And incidentally, between games, not only will we cover the banner day for you, but Ralph is going to have a special edition of Kiner's Corner.
Right.
And they'll have all the updates for you, as usual.
Dykstra 2 for 3, a triple and a single. He scored a run. His 4th triple back in the 6th. Fastball is high. Driving in this morning, as I always do, I was listening to Jonathan Schwartz. Great show on Sunday morning. Change up outside, 2-0. And he had a segment in his show where he played some show tunes that were filler tunes from 10 to 11. A tune like Show Me from My Fair Lady. Not a well-known tune. There's a strike to Dykstra. But I was thinking about it, and I think that really applies to baseball, particularly the Mets, and particularly guys like Wally Backman and Len Dykstra. They're not star players, but they are oh so vital. Swing and a miss, 2-2 to Len.
And those kind of songs in Broadway shows are often used to change sets and scenery.
Yeah, they're filling. Yeah,
right.
They tie the story together.
That's right. And it's funny you should pick that particular title, because both Len Dykstra and Wally Backman have had to show me what they can do in order to make it in the big leagues.
Interesting point. Ground ball pass. Jim Morrison at 3rd base. It'll probably be scored a base hit. Nice going, Steve. They have shown a lot of people that irascible fury of a Len Dykstra and Wally Backman.
Well, with the left-hander Dykstra up, Third baseman playing well off the line, and Len just sort of punches this ball like a golf swing. That looked like some of my golf swings too, the way it sliced out of there.
Backman 1 for 2. He scored 2 runs. Dykstra the other, and the Mets are leading 3-0, and that's the point. They are always, every time you look up, it's first and third with Dykstra and Backman, both batting over 300. Pitch out, and it's 1-0 to Backman.
Dykstra's stolen 15 of 16 bases. And as you see, he's now hitting .319 in addition to that.
And Dykstra back.
And something else is back. The wave is
Indeed.
back.
Much to the dismay of Ralph Kiner.
What I like about it is the way the fans applaud themselves after they finish doing it.
Yeah, they do. Of course, on a day like this, hot and sticky, they might be doing it for a different reason.
That's true. Get out of those seats for a minute. A little air.
One and 0 to Wally Backman. Mets lead 3-0. 1 out here in the 7th. Fastball is low. 2-0. Keith Hernandez on deck. Might add a new element to the word fan as they're fanning each other today. Huh? Circulating the air.
There isn't much wind blowing today, that's for sure.
About 85 degrees. Humidity relatively high, no pun intended. It's always kind of got me, that term relative humidity. Sounds like you're talking about a cousin at a party. Huh?
It's a sticky ant I used to.
There goes Dykstra. The throw to second. Safe at second base. Stolen base number 16 for Len Dykstra. And there he is again.
And when you steal against that guy right there, you've done a good job, because Pena has gunned out quite a few this year. His ratio has been outstanding, and Dykstra still has only been caught 1 time. Pena's caught 18 of 43 now, a little under 50%. And that's very good for a catcher.
And I think the very fact that only 43 guys have tried to run against Pena is also indicative of that strong arm. It's 3-0 to Backman. There's a strike, 3-1.
Even though the Mets have not been able to throw out a high percentage of base runners, they have certainly stolen a high percentage. That's their 52nd stolen base in 68 attempts.
And 20 of their last 22. Fastball misses. So Wynn walks his 3rd batter. He has only faced 6. Make that 7 since coming into the 6th inning, and he's walked 3 of them and allowed 1 hit. The Mets have runners at first and second, and 1 out, and Keith Hernandez the batter. Jim Leyland and Bill Verdon, his right-hand man, looking on.
The Pirates' record this season at 24-32, and they're in danger of losing their 33rd today, is not because they haven't been able to score enough runs. They have, in fact, outscored their opponents going into this game today. 264 runs to 261. So they've now given up as many as they have scored. It has been their pitching and their bullpen problems that have really hurt them a lot.
Bob Walk pitched very well for 5 innings, and then a triple by Dykstra and a walk to Wally Backman in the 6th. And that was the end of Bob Walk. In his first start of the year, that was a pretty good job. Slider backs up but stays on the corner. 0-1 to Hernandez.
And you had to figure that about the 5th or 6th inning he would start to lose it, because he had not gone that long this year, and as we've just been talking about, it's warm today.
Hernandez 1 for 2. He doubled in a run in the 4th inning and has walked. Keith entered the game batting .318. 3-0. New York on top, bottom of 7. Pops it up. It could be playable. Almond over, Pena over, and it drops in between them. I told you it could be playable. 0-2 to Hernandez.
It was playable, but it wasn't played. You could see this was going to happen early. When two players start looking at each other and not at the ball, you've got a problem. Now watch Allman. He's checking out Pena more than he's checking out the ball, and the ball's actually closer to him. He has a much easier play than Pena does. Pena feels he's going to take it. Billy with the glasses down, and he just looked off that ball so many times, I think he lost it. He's lucky it didn't hit him on the head.
Well, not only is the angle better for a first baseman coming in, but you said a very pertinent point. The glasses down. A catcher does not have glasses. Right. There is a glare when you look up. A high sky, relatively high sky today, but nonetheless the ball should have been caught.
And I think Ballman should have just taken charge and made the play.
An error is given, and they have not told us who the error is on. I would think it would be on Bill Almond. 0-2 to Hernandez. Ball 1, 1-2.
That would be the appropriate scoring call. It was his ball to handle, and it also landed closer to him than it did to Pena. Sometimes a scorer will take that into consideration.
So close only counts in horseshoes and going after foul pop-ups now?
No. Throw hand grenades in there. Get it? Throw hand grenades.
Oh, yes, certainly.
Please don't.
And the slider swing and a miss, and Hernandez is down. First strikeout for Jim Wynn, and now he is throwing the helmet and the bat around home place. And sure enough, that was an error on Bill Almond, even though neither Pena nor Almond laid a glove on the ball. So the batter, Kevin Mitchell. Kevin in there for Darryl Strawberry, who left the game after being hit by a foul ball. He was batting when that happened. He got to second and motioned to Bud Harrelson, who motioned to Davy Johnson, and they took him out of the game. And here's Mitchell. Kevin batting .330 on the year. Tried to hold up. He went too far, but the pitch was a strike anyway. It's 0-1 to Mitchell. Kevin, the first player to start at 5 different positions this year in the major leagues, and the first to do it since Alan Bannister did it back in 1984 for the Texas Rangers. Ball 1.
Bill Allman of the Pirates has played 5 different positions, but he has not started at 5 positions.
Actually, Kevin's played at 6 positions.
That's right. And they both might play at 7 before the season's over.
Well hit left field. It's going to be extra bases, and it hits the top of the wall. Dykstra scores. Here comes Backman. Strong throw home. He's going to be out. So Wally Backman is thrown out by Sammy Khalifa, but credit Kevin Mitchell with an RBI, and the Mets lead it 4-0. Dykstra scoring and Backman thrown out on the play. 1 run on 2 hits and 1 left. So after 7, it's the Mets 4 and the Pirates nothing, and we'll be back after this word from Bud Light. Masterpiece by Bob, trying to shut the Pirates out for the 2nd time in a row. 10 days ago, Bob shut out the Pirates 7-0 at Three Rivers in Pittsburgh. He is 2-0 against the Bucks this year. And the other game he won 7-1. He leads this one 4-0, top of the 8th inning. So in 25 innings, Bob Ojeda has given up 1 earned run to the Pittsburgh Pirates.
He already has 2 complete games and 1 shutout this year.
R.J. Reynolds, the batter. R.J. entered the game in the 6th inning on the double switch when he went to left when Pat Clemens came in the game. Mets with 7 hits, the Bucks with 6. Fastball inside. .56 strikes and only 21 balls. He's only walked 1. 2 strikeouts. Change up is low, 2-0.
Ojeda now on the year has struck out 50 batters while walking 24. So that's a little bit better than a 2-to-1 ratio, which is what you would like to see in a starting pitcher.
Fastball is low. So it's 3-0 to R.J. Reynolds. Bob walked 5 in his last outing against Philadelphia. That's his high for the year. There's a strike, 3-1. Reynolds .269 as a right-handed hitter, batting over .340 left-handed. Fastball for a strike. Interesting way how he cradles that bat, isn't it? Right up near the chin. It's similar to the way I used to hold it.
I was just going to say, does that remind you of anybody?
Yeah.
Right next to that ear.
Swing and a miss. He got Reynolds. 3rd strikeout for Ojeda. 1 away here in the 8th.
And Bobby coming right after him here with a fastball. He's what I guess you would have to call sneaky fast. He cannot really blow people away, but he does lull you a little bit and then pop one in there once in a while.
Barry Bonds 1 for 3 on the afternoon. The curve ball is low.
What did you find that did for you, Tim, holding your hands?
It relaxed my arms.
Did it? Getting it close to your head like
that?
And
it doesn't matter where you start from. That's why there is such a myriad of styles as far as stances are concerned. The only key in good hitting is, Ralph talks about it a lot, weight shift, waiting back, quick hands, the weight shift from the back part to the front part, very important. And this one lifted to left field. Danny Heap there, and he makes the catch. So 2 outs here in the 8th, and 9 in a row retired by Ojeda. Make that 10 in a row.
Yes, it's really how you bring that bat head through the hitting area that determines what you do with the ball.
And all good hitters are similar. They're not the same, but they're similar. When that ball is about 10 feet away, they have already made the necessary movements to get their hands in the proper position to attack the ball or take it or whatever may be the situation. Rafael Belliard is 1 for 3. He has a 6-game hitting streak.
The Mets also lead in batting average. They're at the top in both categories.
1-1 to Belliard.
Well, all you have to do to think about how difficult it is to hit a baseball with any consistency and success is try to find another sport at which you can fail 7 out of 10 times and still make the Hall of Fame. If anything demonstrates how tough it is, that does.
A good bunt. Ray Knight will have to hurry, but can't get him. Ray Knight was playing Belliard shallow, but still couldn't get him as Belliard dropped a nice bunt down the 3rd baseline. Hit number 7 for Pittsburgh.
It's really a perfect bunt as he hits it right down into the ground and right near the line. And Knight not only had to come in, but he had to come over toward the line. As you can see, he's playing off the line. Ray did all that he could do. Belliard runs extremely well and just flat beat it out. And a good play by Raphael with 2 out to get on base.
And a much tougher play for a left-handed throwing 3rd baseman. Here's Mike Brown. Mike 1 for 3 on the afternoon. Ground ball to short. Over to Backman for the force.
Okay.
No runs, 1 hit, 1 left here in the 8th. After 7.5, it's 4-0 New York. Now here's a word from Exxon.
28th, it's the 8th annual New Jersey All-Star Football Classic, live from Rutgers University right here on Channel 9, featuring the Garden State's Young Hopefuls and Channel 9's Carl Churkin calling the play.
All right, Steve, bottom of the 8th inning, and we were laughing about that comment about left-handed third baseman between innings, but you know, a lot of serious things come out of goofy sayings, and that was certainly goofy. But the point is, you know, the third base position and the shortstop position made for right-handed throwers, and that's why, conversely, the first base position is made for a left-handed thrower, because all the throws are to his right. All the throws from a right-handed thrower are to their left. Jesse Orozco is up and throwing, which would lead one to believe, well, what about a second baseman? He's still throwing to his left.
That's right.
Even though on the shuffle-off play on the double play, that's why you see second baseman work on that awkward backhand toss, because it is very awkward.
And you add to that the pivot at second base for the second baseman on the double play, and there's no way with any ability a left-hander could play that position.
Gary Carter leading off the bottom of the 8th, 1-0 to Gary. Jim Wynn, the third Pirate pitcher of the afternoon. It's 4-0, New York leading. Ground ball to short, and the right-handed throwing Khalifa throws out Carter, 1 away.
Now, that's not to say that a couple of left-handers haven't played short on occasion, but it doesn't work out. Are you ready? Today's incredibly stupid stat of the game, of the first game for that matter. Through 7 innings, today's pitchers have thrown over to first base only 10 times. Very good.
That's not as stupid as it might sound.
No, it's not incredibly stupid. It's semi-stupid.
It's yeah. It's kind of dumb. It's a kind of dumb stat. Danny Heap is 0 for 2. He walked with the bases loaded his last time up. Credit for an RBI, his 18th of the year. Told you serious things came out of goofy things sometimes.
It's not only semi-stupid, it's semi-interesting, because a lot of times you'll see one pitcher throw over there 10 times in 1 inning.
He held up in time, I believe. Yes, says third base umpire Steve Ripley. So it's 1-1 to Danny. Make that 2-1 to Danny Heap. There weren't a lot of base runners the first 5 innings either. Mets scored the first run back in the 4th inning on an RBI double by Hernandez. 2 bases loaded walks by this fella. Jim Wynn plated another 2. And then Lynn Dykstra scored on Kevin Mitchell's RBI double in the 7th. So it's 4-0 Mets, and this one fouled away, still 2-2.
The Mets have only had base runners on first base in a situation where the pitcher would throw over there 3 times in the ball game. What is a balloon doing in the bullpen?
Looks like a Kukla, Fran, and Ali set.
It does, doesn't he? You wait for the puppets to come up. Fran Elson will walk in from the side, and Kukla and Ali will come up from the bottom.
3-2 to Danny Heap.
Bill Webb says there's a midget out there watching the game. Trying to.
Well, Danny Heap has lost second straight walk, and the 4th issued by Jim Wynn and the batter Ray Knight.
Well, already it's time for son of the incredibly stupid stat of today's first game. Through 7 innings, today's first basemen have returned throws to the pitchers 9 times. Where's the other ball?
Well, there was 1 balk.
Where'd the 10th throw over go? Stuck it in his back pocket, I guess.
No one has been caught stealing throwing to first. So that might have been an incorrect stupid stat. Incorrect, incredibly stupid stat. Right?
It's inconclusive, to say the least.
And there goes Heap, and the fastball's inside, and Heap's going to be thrown out. It appeared that the hit and run was on, but Ray Knight was tied up to the point where he couldn't swing the bat.
This ball really in there. See, Ray tried to get a little bit of wood on the ball. The ball was so far inside, he would have probably hit it with his arms had he swung. And at the last second, he tried to drop the bat down there in an effort to foul it off and protect Heap, but he couldn't do it.
Buddy Harrelson. Mets trying to win their 10th game in 11 meetings against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Their best season series ever was when they were 13-5 back in 1973. And it was interesting because they had to beat the Pirates that many times to win the division that year. They only won 82 games in 73. Swing and a miss, 1-2 to Ray Knight. Or it's 1-1 to Ray Knight. Cecilio Guante casting his charm toward the stands. Ground ball and a high chopper for Sam Khalifa. So Knight goes down, and after 8 innings, it's 4-0 New York. We go to the 9th. 3 more outs left for the Pirates after this word from Eastern Airlines. The Mets are leading the Pittsburgh Pirates 4-0. Bob Ojeda has faced the Pirates for 26 innings this year. He has a shutout, a complete game, and he's given up 1 earned run in 26 innings against the Pirates. Jim Morrison leads it off. Jim, an ex-Philly, an ex-Chicago White Sox player, hit 300 for the Sox back in 1982. Each team with 7 hits. Pirates have committed 1 error. Fastball is low. Morrison 1 for 3. He leads the Pirates along with Sid Bream with 9 home runs. And a bunt attempt, and it's going to be foul. Good idea, 4 runs down.
Pirates have to at least load the bases as Lee Mazzilli's out on deck in order to have a chance to get the tying run to the plate. The way Ojeda's been pitching, especially since the 4th inning, it might be tough duty because he has not appeared to lose anything, Tim. He still looks pretty strong.
He's only given up 1 hit since that 4th inning, and the changeup is down 2-1. Matter of fact, only 1 base runner. A bunt base hit by Rafael Belliard in the 8th. Changeup hit fair, and it's a fair ball. That ball appeared to be going foul, but it just held its course. Looked like a hit right on the line. So a double for Jim Morrison.
For Morrison, his 6th 2-base hit of the year, and let's watch and see. I thought 2 had landed right on the line. Of course, on the line is fair, just inside the line, the inside edge of the line. Catches any part of that grass in there,
or any part of the line.
Or any part of the line. Yeah. That's a fair ball. Yeah, what I meant was any part of the grass that's lined.
That's why it's a fair line, not a foul line.
But they call it the foul pole instead of the fair pole. Well, anyway.
Lee Mazzilli, the pinch hitter. His on-base average as a pinch hitter is .360. He's walked 5 times pinch hitting. Got a good eye, batting .215 overall.
And Maz was on with us at the start of the game as you look at Pena on deck to wish his father, who's here today, happy Father's Day.
And it's 1-1 to Maz, and I would like to echo that fine sentiment. My dad watching today from Memphis, Tennessee. I spoke to him earlier. Ed McCarver. And those folks lining up to present their banners here between games. We will carry the entire Banner Day festivities for you happily here on WOR.
Truth of the matter is No, it's a lot of fun.
It is.
But we don't have any choice because we're going to cover the second game.
That's
and
correct.
It can't start till Banner Day's over.
And that special edition of Kiner's Corner also right after game 1. A changeup, swing and a miss. 2-2 to Mazzilli.
Ojeda still claims he does not turn the ball over, but it sure does break away from right-handed hitters and looks a little like a mini screwball.
A 2-1 changeup, 4 runs ahead in the 9th inning, behind in the count, and another one. He got him.
Well, Ojeda means business here. He wants that shutout with that runner at second base in scoring position, and he got tough with Mazzilli and got him out of there.
Here's Tony Pena. Pena will bunt also. So Ray Knight alive at third. Line foul. The only thing predictable about Ojeda is that he's unpredictable. I mean, a 2-1 changeup with a 4-run lead. If I'm a hitter, he gets me too. I'll tell you that. And that's the beauty of being able to throw the breaking ball behind in the count.
Well, that's the truth.
This young man, a pure pitcher in the purest sense of the word. A little looper over first. It could be trouble. Fair ball. Morrison scores. Pena to second. And Pena's going to go to third as Mitchell threw the ball to Backman. Backman allowed it to trickle through, so we'll see who the error is going to be on.
I don't know if the ball slipped out of Mitchell's hand or not. He was blocked from our view by the stands here. So let's take a look at it. Ojeda has given up a lot of hits like this today. This is the 7th Pirate hit, or rather the 9th Pirate hit. And most of them have been bloopers like that. And Mitch goes to throw the ball and it just slipped out of his hand. He was trying to throw it into Santana at second to keep Pena from going to third. And here it is. Whoops.
Whoops.
Just right down into the ground, and it harmlessly trickles into the infield, and before Santana can retrieve it, Pena goes over to third, so the error is on Mitchell. And the shutout is gone.
And here's Bill Almond. So Pena at third base. It's 4-1 now. In order for Mitchell to hit the cutoff man with that throw, the cutoff man would have had to have been 1.5 feet tall and standing 9 feet from him. That ball went straight. It looked like he was throwing it down a mine shaft. 0-2 to Almond.
He was emulating what Pete Rose does at first base at the end of an inning.
Spiking the ball. 1 out. We're in the 9th. 4-1. Ojeda and the Mets on top. Change-up got him. Strikeout number 5 for Bob Ojeda. And there are 2 out.
Almond waited on this pitch, but again, it's that little breakaway. Almond's waiting, then he swings. He still can't get it because it breaks down and away from him. He wasn't that far out in front of the ball. It's just that movement, and he couldn't catch up with it.
And when the right-handers seem to wait and look for that pitch, that's when Ojeda, almost a 6th sense, to bust that ball in on him. And that's why you have a lot of flares the other way. 4 to be exact.
Guys are looking outside and they get jammed very easily.
Fastball outside, 2-0. The on-deck batter, R.J. Reynolds. So Ojeda trying to challenge Khalifa to keep him off the base, because Reynolds, should he get up, will represent the tying run. Strike 1, 2-1. Strike 2 on the corner, 2-2.
And once again, Ojeda has Khalifa set up in similar fashion.
Change up, he just got a piece of it. There are 2 out in the 9th inning. Tony Pena at third base. The Mets have a 3-run lead. This was that last 2-2 pitch.
If Khalifa's bat's a half an inch shorter, he's out of there. He just hit it off the end.
Curveball lifted to right field. Kevin Mitchell squeezes it, and the Mets have just won their 42nd ball game of the year against 16 losses. Bobby Ojeda, the winner, his record now 8-2. Bob Walk, the loser, his record now 2-3. Ojeda did miss his chance for his second consecutive shutout against the Pirates, as they did play the run in the 9th inning. The line score on the game, 4-7-1 for New York, 1-9-1 for Pittsburgh. Steve and I will be back with a wrap-up. Kiner's Corner to follow right after this word from MasterCard.